This rescue dog wouldn't stop sniffing the baby. Then doctors found this. When Emma brought home a rescue dog named Atlas, she thought she was saving him. She had no idea he was about to save her entire family. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because stories like this one will restore your faith in the unbreakable bond between animals and humans. At the end of the video, tell us where you're watching from. You brought what home? Daniel's voice cut through the air the moment Emma walked through the front door. Behind her, a massive dog stepped carefully across the threshold, his paws heavy against the hardwood floor. His eyes were cautious, uncertain, like he'd been hurt before and wasn't ready to trust again. Emma's hand rested gently on the dog's head. "His name is Atlas. The shelter was going to put him down, Daniel. He's been returned 3 times. Nobody wanted him." Daniel stared at the enormous animal, then back at his wife. "Emma, we have a 6-month-old baby. What if he's aggressive?" From the nursery down the hall, little Ethan let out a playful shriek, the sound of pure innocence echoing through their home. Emma's eyes softened. "He's not aggressive. He's scared, just like Ethan would be if no one loved him." Daniel wanted to argue. He wanted to say this was reckless, that they should have discussed it first. But the way Atlas stood there, head low, tail tucked, eyes pleading, something stopped him. "Fine," Daniel finally said, "but if anything feels off—" "Nothing will," Emma interrupted, her voice firm but gentle. She didn't know yet how wrong and how right she would be. It started the very next morning. Emma had placed Ethan on his playmat, surrounded by soft toys and crinkly books. The baby was babbling happily, his tiny hands reaching for a stuffed giraffe. Atlas, who had spent the night curled up in the corner of the living room, suddenly lifted his head. Slowly, deliberately, the dog rose to his feet. Emma watched from the kitchen as Atlas padded across the room. His movements were careful, almost reverent, as if he understood how fragile the baby was. And then he stopped, right in front of Ethan. The dog lowered his massive head, his nose hovering just inches above the baby's belly. And then he began to sniff, not casually, not playfully, but with intense, focused purpose. Ethan giggled, his chubby fingers reaching up to grab Atlas's ears. The dog didn't flinch. He just kept sniffing, his nose pressing gently against the baby's stomach through his onesie. "Atlas, that's enough, boy," Emma called out, laughing nervously. But Atlas didn't move. His nose stayed locked on that one spot right above Ethan's belly button. Emma felt a flicker of unease. She walked over and gently pulled Ethan away, cradling him in her arms. Atlas let out a low whine, his eyes never leaving the baby. "It's okay," Emma whispered, more to herself than to the dog. "He's just getting used to him." But deep down, something felt off. Day after day, it happened again. Every single time Ethan was on the floor, Atlas was there, sniffing, pressing his nose to the same exact spot. His behavior became almost ritualistic, urgent, desperate even. Daniel noticed it during breakfast one morning. Ethan was in his high chair and Atlas sat at his feet, staring up at the baby with intense focus. The moment Emma lifted Ethan out of the chair, Atlas stood, his nose immediately going to the baby's stomach. "Emma, this isn't normal," Daniel said, setting down his coffee. "Look at him. He's obsessed." Emma tried to brush it off. "He's bonding. Dogs get attached." "That's not attachment," Daniel said, his voice rising. I don't know what that is, but it's not normal." Atlas whined again, his nose buried against Ethan's belly. The baby laughed, completely oblivious to the tension in the room. Emma's hands trembled as she held her son. "What are you saying, Daniel?" Daniel stood up, walking over to them. He crouched down, looking Atlas directly in the eyes. The dog's expression wasn't playful. It was worried. "I'm saying," Daniel said quietly, "that dogs have instincts we don't understand, and right now every instinct is telling me that Atlas is trying to warn us about something." Emma's breath caught. "Warn us? About what?" Atlas barked, sharp, loud, demanding attention. Ethan's face scrunched up, and he started to cry. Daniel's face went pale. "About Ethan." The pediatrician's office smelled like antiseptic and fear. Emma sat clutching Ethan in her arms, while Daniel explained everything to Dr. Harrison, a seasoned physician who'd seen thousands of children in his 30-year career. "Our dog," Daniel said, his voice tight. "He won't stop sniffing our son's stomach. Always the same spot. It's been going on for days. We think something might be wrong." Dr. Harrison leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. "A dog noticed something?" "Please," Emma whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "Just check him. I know it sounds crazy, but—" "It doesn't sound crazy," Dr. Harrison interrupted gently. "Animals have been known to detect things we can't. Let's take a look." He began the examination, his hands moving carefully over Ethan's tiny body. When his fingers pressed against the baby's abdomen, Ethan squirmed and let out a sharp cry. Dr. Harrison's face changed. "There's definitely some swelling here. I'm ordering an ultrasound immediately." The wait felt like an eternity. Emma paced the hallway, her mind racing through every worst-case scenario. Daniel sat with his head in his hands, his knee bouncing anxiously. Finally, Dr. Harrison emerged from the imaging room, a folder in his hands. "Your dog," he said slowly, "saved your son's life." Emma's legs nearly gave out. "What?" "There's a mass in Ethan's abdomen," Dr. Harrison explained. "It's small, but it's growing. If you'd waited even a few more weeks, it could have become life-threatening. But because you caught it now, we can treat it. He's going to be okay." Emma collapsed into Daniel's arms, sobbing. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" Daniel's voice was barely a whisper. Atlas knew. He knew before any of us. That night, they brought Ethan home from the hospital. The treatment plan was set, the mass would be removed, and the prognosis was excellent. Atlas was waiting by the door when they walked in. The moment Emma entered with Ethan in her arms, the dog approached slowly, his tail wagging gently. He sniffed the air, then pressed his nose carefully against Ethan's hand. This time, the baby didn't cry. He smiled. Emma knelt down, tears streaming down her face. "You knew, didn't you? You knew something was wrong with my baby, and you wouldn't let it go." Atlas let out a soft rumble, his eyes warm and steady. Daniel crouched beside them, his hand resting on Atlas's broad head. "We almost didn't let you in. We thought you were the danger." His voice cracked. "But you're the reason our son is still here. You're the reason he's going to grow up healthy." Emma wrapped her arms around both the dog and her baby, pulling them close. "You're not a rescue dog anymore, Atlas. You're family. You're his protector. You're his guardian angel." Atlas settled onto the floor beside the crib, his eyes never closing. He stayed there through the night, watching, waiting, breathing steady and strong. He had done what he was meant to do. He had saved the life of the boy he loved. This story reminds us that sometimes the ones we think need saving are the ones who end up saving us. Atlas wasn't just a dog. He was a miracle in disguise. And because Emma and Daniel listened to him, Ethan is alive and thriving today. Animals see the world differently than we do. They sense things we can't. And sometimes, when we pay attention, they show us what truly matters. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves animals, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that will restore your faith in the amazing bond between humans and animals. Drop a comment below and tell us, do you have a pet that saved your life or someone you love? We want to hear your story. Thank you for watching, and remember, every life has value. Every creature has purpose. And sometimes the greatest heroes have 4 paws and a heart full of love.